Welcome to Manifested Publishers.
How are you? How do you do? I hope you are doing well and you are continuing to learn and enjoy your lessons as we continue to learn history and government. Today, I welcome you once again. We are learning international relations. That is the topic we are handling, and the subtopic that we are on, the subtopic is the organization of the UN. The organization of the UN. We have discussed in our previous lessons how the UN was formed, and if you can remember very well, we said it was formed to ensure there is international peace all over the world, or there is peace in the countries, and also to prevent an outbreak of another war, among so many other objectives and aims of the UN. So we, in our today's lesson, we are going further to interrogate the organization. As part of a recap of what we did, we mentioned the different organs that are used to, or that are form part of the United Nations, that help in achieving the mandates to which the UN was formed. Are you able to remember these organs? Which are they? You can discuss that. You can tell that to the person you are watching this video with. You can tell that to your parents. You can tell that to your friend that you are having there. We mentioned 6 organs that are used in running, that form part of the United Nations. Are you able to remember them? The 6 organs. The first one was the General Assembly. Very good. The General Assembly. That is the first organ. And we said this formed, or it encompasses all the member states of the United Nations. Number 2, we had the Security Council. The Security Council. This is the permanent decision-making organ of the United Nations. We said it has 15 members, right? How many members are permanent members of the Security Council? We have 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Which are they? Yes, I hope you are able to list them down. And then we also have the other 10 members who are elected by the General Assembly. Number 3, which are the other organs of the United Nations? We have the ICJ. Very good. Which stands for the International Court of Justice. Very good. Where do we have the headquarters of ICJ? In The Hague. Very good. Those are that is the next arm or organ of the United Nations. And then we have number 4, which is the Economic and Social Council. Economic and Social Council, which deals with the economic and social issues in the world. And then the second last, which was the second last organ of the United Nations, my dear Lana? Very good. The Secretariat. The Secretariat. And then lastly, we have the Trusteeship Council was the next or was the last organ that we discussed. Now, apart from these organs that are very essential in running the United Nations, the United Nations has affiliate organizations. It has affiliate agencies. Part of the United Nations are other agencies that are not here. They are independent. They work on their own, but they are affiliated with the United Nations. So that is what we are going to be discussing in our today's lessons. The affiliate or the specialized agencies. The specialized agencies. The specialized agencies of the United Nations. So these are agencies that are given special mandates. They are given specific duties to act on behalf of the United Nations. So there are so many of them, and we are just going to mention them and look at the places where they operate from, and also some of their duties. So to start us off, the first organization, the first specialized agency. Remember, when we talk of a specialized agency, it deals with specific matters. It deals with specific problems or specific issues in the United Nations. The first one, we refer to it, number one, we have the ILO, which is the International Labour Organization. International Labour Organization. It is it handles has its headquarters. It has its headquarters, which we shall be abbreviating as HQ, right? It has its headquarters at Geneva, which is in Switzerland. That is where its headquarters or its head office is. It's in Geneva. It is concerned with labor issues to do with employment. It caters for the welfare of those who are employed and those who have employed people. So anything to do with employment, it is under the jurisdiction of the International Labour Organization. So it deals with employment and labor issues. It deals with labor issues. So it has been given mandate to act and to make sure that it regulates the employment or to solve any issues that come up on related to employment. Number two, we have another organization that is abbreviated as FAO, which is the Food and Agriculture Organization. The Food and Agriculture Organization. It is headquartered at it has its headquarters at Rome, which is in Italy, right? So the Food and Agriculture Organization is concerned with food security. It's concerned with agriculture, right? Its duties involve, it has to increase production of food. How countries can increase their production. So they do research to improve production of food products. That is through production of more or specialized seeds, and also the use of fertilizer. So it engages itself in making research, so that food production we have food security. Another one, it is also engaged in bringing or developing of rural areas where most of the farming takes place. So it is also engaged in making sure that there is rural development to make sure that there is proper production of food, or there is increased production of food. It also concerned with the control of pests and diseases that are affecting crop and animal production. So any kind of pest or any kind of diseases that affect agriculture, it is in the domain of the Food and Agriculture Organization. It also provides professional advice. It provides professional advice to countries or to members of the United Nations. So those countries that require expertise, they partner with FAO to make sure that there is proper or there is improved production of food. Lastly, they are engaged in marketing and distribution of food and farm products. So they provide or streamline markets for agricultural produce or agricultural inputs, that is seeds and fertilizer. So they regulate, or they are engaged in making sure that there is proper marketing of agricultural produce. Then we have another one known as the WHO. This is the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization. It is also has its headquarters in Geneva. That is in Switzerland. It was initiated, or it came into existence in 1948. It was instituted in 1948. So the main function of the WHO, or the World Health Organization, is to make sure that there is control of diseases that concern the whole world. There is control of diseases that affect the whole world, or diseases that are spread out in the world. For example, we have the HIV virus that erupted in the world and affected most of the countries. It is the duty of the World Health Organization to make sure that it facilitates the members of the United Nations in passing out information, how different diseases are reacting and how diseases are being spread, and also to help in research to find out different remedies that can be given. So it gives out guidelines and protocols to be followed in handling different diseases. We are now talking of the coronavirus. It is the World, excuse me, it is the World Health Organization that is giving guidelines of how different diseases are being are spread throughout the world. Some time ago, we had the disaster of Ebola that affected several countries. So it is the duty of the World Health Organization to sensitize the different members of the United Nations on existence of these diseases and measures to be taken to curb or to make sure that these diseases have been dealt with. The next organization that we are going to look at is the World Bank. The World Bank. The World Bank. So this is a bank that was created in 1945. It has its headquarters in Washington, DC, which is in the USA. This one is concerned, and I've mentioned it was created in 1945. It is concerned with giving out of loans. It is concerned with giving out of loans to cushion or to help in development projects. Loans for development projects. So it gives out loans to the members of the United Nations to help them in in developing economies, and also for the balance of payments, to make sure that the countries or economies are stable. So it is the duty of the World Bank to give loans and advance loans to members, and then members are able to pay at an interest. And then we have, related to that, we have another organization known as the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. This one is also concerned, the World Bank advances loans. The IMF is concerned with stabilizing of currencies. It stabilizes currencies. It makes sure that the currencies that are used in the world are stable. We have different currencies that are used in the world. That one currency does not go too much high to affect the world trade. Remember, these organizations came together so that they could have relations. They could have trade relations. So if currencies are not stable, that means there is unfair trade practices. So the work of the IMF is to make sure that the currencies are stable. This promotes trade. So in stabilizing the world currencies, the different currencies that are used in the world, and I'm sure you are well able to mention them, right? When these currencies are stable over a long time, that means you can be able to predict the market system or the market that is you are trading in. This encourages trade amongst countries. The next, apart from those five, let us move a step further and look at the next organization, number 6, which is known as the UNESCO. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. This is it is headquartered at Paris, which is in France. That is where you will find its headquarters. So this one is concerned with promoting education, science, and cultural activities among the members of the UN. It promotes education, science, and cultural activities among the nations or among the countries of the UN. It also concerned with eradicating illiteracy, right? It is concerned with eradicating illiteracy levels among nations. So those nations that are developing and do not have elaborate education system, it is the duty of UNESCO to make sure that illiteracy levels are reduced. It also concerned with publishing research journals. Where there is science, there is research. So inventions that have been made, it is the duty of the UNESCO to publish these journals that have been made. And also, lastly, it is concerned with preservation of historical monuments. The history of the people. It is the duty of the UNESCO to make sure that those historical information has been maintained. The next organization that we are going to look at is the UNICEF. UNICEF stands for the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. So this one deals with children needs, the needs of children. Remember, children are a very important part of the population. So it is the duty of the UNICEF to make sure that the needs, the basic needs of children, which include food, shelter, right? Food, shelter, their security has been maintained, and also education. The children have access to education. So those are some of the basic needs that they take care. They also need. They also make sure that the children have been exposed to the proper medication. That at every age, at every level where a child is supposed to be treated, they are able to undergo treatment. Their headquarters is in the headquarters of UNICEF is in New York. New York City, right? New York City. New York City, right? That is where they have we have the capital city of UNICEF. Now, the second, there are still more. Number 8. We have the 8th organization. We have UNEP. UNEP. This is the United Nations Environmental Programs. This one is headquartered. Its headquarters is found in Nairobi, which is in Kenya. So this one is concerned with the conservation of the environment. Any program concerning the environment is tackled by the UNEP. It has its headquarters here in Nairobi, a place known as Gigiri. That is where we have the UNEP. That is where these programs are instituted, and then they also manage and conserve the environment. So they make programs to ensure that the environment we have is sustained. The parks that are there in the world have been sustained, not just in Kenya. Remember, we are dealing of the United Nations across the world. Then the second last, we have the number 9. We have another organization known as the ICAO. ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation International Civil Aviation Organization. So this one is maintains equipment in the North Atlantic. So these equipment are essential in helping. Remember, when you talk of the North Atlantic, we have a lot of fog. It is a very cold area. So there is always fog, and there is no clear way of people who are flying there or people who are using aeroplanes. So it helps or directs pilots who are flying over the North Atlantic Ocean. So it maintains these equipment to guide the pilots through the fog and the mist or the darkness. And then lastly, number 10, we have the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. So this one deals with refugees. Those people, a refugee is a person who has been displaced from his home area. A person who has been displaced from his home area because of war. An example, so they help those refugees, those people who have ran away and sought asylum or have sought refuge in another country. A very good example is what we have in Kenya. We have two refugee camps, two very big refugee camps in Kenya. Are you able to, do you know them? The refugee camps that we have in Kenya. We have one at Dadaab, right? I'm sure you have heard of that. Another one we have at Kakuma. So the UNHCR is the organization that is concerned with taking care of the needs of these refugees. They provide them with shelter. They create tents. They provide them with food because these people have ran away from their home, right? An example are those people who ran away from Southern Sudan during the war that they were having, right? So they come and find refuge in Kenya. As a nation or as a country, we are not able to feed those people. So the United Nations High Commission for Refugees comes in play and provides for the needs of these people. It also helps to try and resettle them back to their homes. So those are some of or some of the major organizations, the specialized agencies in the United Nations. There are so many other. We cannot discuss all of them. So you could be able to go and discuss and find out which are these other nations. But these are the major agencies that are used in the United Nations. They help the United Nations in solving or maintaining the security and peace of the world. So as we end our lesson today, allow me to give you an assignment or a revision question that will help you revise. We have a revision question. And the question is, number 1, name any 5 agencies. Any 5 specialized agencies of the United Nations. Name any 5 specialized agencies of the United Nations. And with that, my dear learner, we have come to our history and government lesson. I've been your teacher, Conan Gakure. Until the next time we shall meet in a history and government lesson. Bye-bye.